Ladies and gentlemen, selamat pagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning from Surabaya and welcome to the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electronic Engineering, Icvee 2025, hosted by Faculty of Engineering State University of Surabaya. Selamat datang di Surabaya, selamat datang di Universitas Negeri Surabaya. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to extend our gratitude and welcome to all delegates, keynote speakers, and participants. And it's an honor for us to have you here, the presence of our Vice Rector for Research and Innovations, Bapak Dr. Bambang Sigit Widodo of State University of Surabaya. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Warek 3 Universitas Negeri Surabaya atas segala dukungan dan arahan. And also would like to thank you very much and welcome to the Chair of Indonesian Electronic Engineering Forum, Bapak Profesor Dr. Arif Udiarto. Thank you very much, Bapak. Welcome to UNESA. And also thank you to the Dean of Faculty of Engineering, Bapak Profesor Dr. Suparji. Thank you very much, Bapak, for the supports. And our esteemed senior faculty members, delegates, and also our distinguished keynote speakers of today's conference. Last but not least, our dedicated organizing committee. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, in this year's theme of the conference, taking the shaping sustainable future with green innovations and industry collaboration for education and intelligent technology advancements. This joint conference is a remarkable collaboration of other academic forums hosted by UNESA in these 2 days. We have also the National Convention of Indonesian Electrical Engineering Forum, or FORTEI 2025, and also the National Seminar on Electronical Engineering 2025, focusing on artificial intelligence and Internet of Things for the development of food and energy security. Together, these events serve a platform to share knowledge, foster collaborations, and inspire sustainable innovations. And also these big forums will be held also for today and tomorrow. And for tomorrow's event will be scheduled and attended by the Minister of Higher Education, Research and Technology, Bapak Profesor Brian Yuliarto, tomorrow at Graha Sawunggaling. Ladies and gentlemen, to kindly invite you to open today's conference, I kindly invite you and everyone to stand and join in singing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly rise. We are going to listen the university's hymn of UNESA. Universitas Negeri Surabaya satu langkah di depan. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our academic journey, let us seek blessings for meaningful discussions through prayer. Let us now listen to a prayer led by our colleague, Bapak Icvee Firmansyah, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Bapak Icvee Firmansyah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mohon izin Bapak Warek, Bapak Dekan, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen. Let us take a moment in prayer, asking for blessing and guidance from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, so that this activity can run smoothly, effectively, and bring benefits for all of us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala ahlihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana ighfir lana wa liwalidayna walil mu'minin yawma yaqumul hisab. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutaqabbalan. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we ask you for beneficial knowledge, good provision, and accepted deeds. Allahumma alimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, teach us what will benefit us. Benefit us with what you have taught us, and increase us in knowledge. Allahumma inna na'udzubika min ilmin la yanfa' wa min qalbin la yakhsha' wa min nafsin la tasba' wa min du'ain la yusma'. Allahumma arinal haqqa haqqa warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arinal batila batila warzuqna tinaba. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, show us the truth as truth and grant us the ability to follow it, and show us the falsehood as falsehood and grant us the ability to avoid it. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, behind this conference stands a dedicated organizing committee whose commitment and dedication is never questionable to make this conference possible. With gratitude, we now invite the General Chair of the Icvee to deliver his remarks. It is my pleasure to invite Bapak Dr. Ervin Yohanes, the General Chair of Icvee, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Distinguished guests, keynote speakers, presenters, and participants, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. And welcome to 2025 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, Icvee 2025. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as we gather under the theme Shaping a Sustainable Future with Green Innovation and Industry Collaboration for Education and Intelligent Technology Advancement. This conference is not only a platform to share our knowledge and innovation, but also a celebration of collaboration, passion, and excellence. And I believe that today, this hall is filled with extraordinary people because we are all here with one vision, one mission, and one determination. We are all remarkable individuals. We are all great people. Let us use this opportunity to exchange ideas, strengthen collaboration, and inspire one another to create sustainable and intelligent solutions for the future. With that, I welcome you to Icvee 2025 officially. Thank you, and I wish you all a fruitful and inspiring conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone.
Thank you very much, Bapak Dr. Ervin Yohanes, the General Chair of the Icvee 2025, for the remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, reflecting the strong role of the Indonesian Electrical Engineering Forum, or Forum Teknik Elektro Indonesia Fortei, in advancing engineering education in Indonesia and beyond, we will listen from the Chair of the Indonesian Electrical Engineering Forum, Bapak Professor Dr. Arif Udiarto, for the welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Bapak Professor Dr. Arif Udiarto.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished Vice Rector for Research Innovation Ranking Publication and Science Center, Bapak Dr. Bambang Stikit Widodo, the Director of Innovation Ranking and Scientific Publication, Professor Nadi Suprapto, the Head of Subdirectorate of Science Publication and Journal Development, Dr. Bernard Kurnia Prahani, IEEE Indonesia Section Representative, the Dean of Faculty of Engineering, Professor Dr. Suparji, honorable member of Icvee board and honorary board of Forte that already joined with us, Professor Asari. Thank you very much for joining for this opening ceremony, and also Professor Asfial, Professor Jia, Pak Dedet, Professor Andani. Thank you so much for joining us all. General Chair of Icvee, Bapak Erwin Yohanes, PhD, Senior Chair of SNTE, Dr. Dian Ratno Sawitri. Esteemed keynote speaker, today we have Professor Ahmed Abu Siada from Curtin University. Hopefully he will join us soon. Professor Wahyudi Hasbi from BRIN, and Professor Lili Anifa from Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Respected presenter, professor, faculty member, researcher, student, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm welcome to all of you. It is both an honor and also a privilege to welcome you to the 2025 National Seminar on Electrical Engineering, or usually we call SNTE, held in proud collaboration with the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, ICVE 2025. This joint forum stands as the testament to our shared commitment to advancing intelligent technologies and sustainable innovation through academic and industry collaboration. This year's theme, the role of Forte in advancing AI and IoT for national food and energy resilience, reflects our strategic vision to harness the transformative power of electrical engineering in addressing two of Indonesia's most pressing challenges: food security and energy sustainability. As chair of Forte, I am deeply encouraged by the growing synergy between our academic institution, research center, laboratories, and industrial partners in shaping solutions that are not only smart, but also inclusive and resilient. Aligned with ICVE's themes, shaping a sustainable future, with green innovation, industry collaboration for education and intelligent technology advancement. This event invites us to think boldly and act collaboratively. The convergence of AI, IoT, and green technologies open new frontier for vocational education and research, empowering the next generation of engineers to lead with purpose and creativity. We are honored to host three distinguished keynote speakers whose expertise and leadership continue to inspire global progress in electrical engineering and intelligent systems. Their insight will undoubtedly enrich our discourse and spark new collaboration across border and discipline. To all presenters, researchers, and students joining us today, your contribution are the lifeblood of this seminar. May this gathering ignite new ideas, foster meaningful partnership, and reaffirm our collective role in shaping a smarter, greener, and more resilient Indonesia. On behalf of Forte, I extend my deepest appreciation to Universitas Negeri Surabaya for hosting this prestigious event, and to all organizing committees for their dedication and excellence. Let us make this seminar not only a celebration of knowledge, but a catalyst for action. Thank you, and may discussion ahead be fruitful and inspiring. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We thank you very much, Bapak Professor Arif, and also for the day. We believe that this forum brings the significant impact to the community through sustainable future and green technology. Ladies and gentlemen, as research and innovations are at the heart of higher education, we are honored to welcome the Vice Rector for Research and Innovations of State University of Surabaya, Bapak Dr. Bambang Sigit Widodo to deliver the opening remarks of today's conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Bapak Dr. Bambang Sigit Widodo.
Distinguished keynote speakers, respected colleagues, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning. It is my great honor to welcome you to the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, Icvee 2025. This year's conference carries a distinctive significance as it is convened in conjunction with Temu Nasional VTI and the Seminar Nasional Teknik Elektro SNTE 2025, thereby establishing a comprehensive forum that bridges international research dissemination with national academic collaboration in the field of electrical engineering and vocational education. The importance of this conference is closely aligned with today's educational and technological landscape. At present, the government of Indonesia places great emphasis on advancing STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics as the foundation for innovation, economic growth, and sustainable development. In this context, electrical engineering study programs play a vital role, not only in producing technological breakthrough in areas such as energy, automation, and digital transformation, but also in equipping future engineers with the competencies required for global competitiveness. Equally important, the Forum Pendidikan Teknik Elektro Indonesia (VTI) provides a strong platform for collaboration among electrical engineering institutions across the nation. Through forum like VTI, academic communities can align curricula, research, and innovation with national priorities, ensuring that our graduates are not just engineers, but leaders in technological progress. I am proud to note that at Universitas Negeri Surabaya, the electrical engineering programs has been a consistent contributor to international indexes and reputable journal and proceedings, further strengthening Indonesia's presence in the global research community. This contribution resonates with UNESA's broader progress as a university. Our institution is increasingly recognized at the Time Higher Education World University Rankings, where UNESA is ranked within the 600. These achievements reflect our ongoing commitment to excellence and continuous improvement on the world stage. Ladies and gentlemen, through Icvee, Temu Nasional VTI, and the Seminar Nasional Teknik Elektro SNTE, we are not only sharing research and innovations, but also strengthening network that will drive meaningful contribution to STEM education and to the progress of our nation and beyond. On behalf of Universitas Negeri Surabaya, I thank all speakers, partners, and participants for joining us in this endeavor. May this event bring impactful discussion, lasting collaboration, and sustainable innovation for the future. With that, I officially declare the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, Icvee 2025, open. Before I close this speech, please allow me to deliver a pantun, and don't forget to say cakep. Beli sate ke Taman Dayu, peserta Icvee, I love you. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Bapak Dr. Bambang Sikit. Please remain on stage, and as we are having a group photo sessions with our leaders, keynote speakers, delegates, and guests. To capture this important moment in collaboration, we invite our leaders, keynote speakers for a group photo on stage, joining the Vice Director for Research and Innovation, Bapak Bambang Sikit Widodo, on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are preparing for our official group photo, let us take a moment of reflections of the significance of today's gathering. This joint conference, the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, National Convention of Electrical Engineering Forum, and also the National Seminar on Electrical Engineering, represents not only academic excellence, but also the spirit of collaboration between universities, researchers, practitioners, and industry partners. Through these three integrated forums, we are reminded that education and innovation must go hand in hand with responsibility. Responsibility to society, to sustainable development, and the future of intelligent technology. This photo session captures more than a moment. It captures a shared commitment to advance knowledge and create solutions with global impact. We thank you to the organizing committee for your dedication. We thank you for the participants, delegates who are joining us here at UNESA. Once again, we thank you for coming to UNESA. We thank you for all the committee, and thank you for our partners PT Falcon, Paragon Corp, Terminal Elektronika Sekawan, Aruna, Teknik Elektro Darul Ulum, IEEE Cityshock Indonesia, and BTN. So we would like to all delegates and participants to have a photo sessions together. Please kindly rise to have a photo sessions together from stage. Ibu bapak sekalian, kami mengundang kepada para peserta dan delegasi untuk berdiri untuk foto bersama para pimpinan serta keynote speaker. Kami mengundang kepada bapak ibu untuk berdiri foto bersama. Kepada tim dokumentasi, oke. Kita akan hitung bersama ya. Ya, kita hitung bersama. 1, 2, 3. Acungkan satu jari Bapak Ibu. UNESA satu langkah di depan. 1, 2, 3. Special request from Pak Rektor. Gaya Pak Rektor, sendekap Bapak Ibu. Thank you very much. Thank you. Once again, thank you for your collaboration and cooperation. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your cooperation and for your patience. As the photo session concludes, we will take a short coffee break. Please enjoy the refreshments provided by the committee. Take this opportunity to network with fellow participants. The program will resume in 9:30 with our keynote sessions. Thank you very much.
Selamat datang di masa depan energi Indonesia, di mana inovasi bertemu dengan komitmen untuk keberlanjutan. PT Aruna Hijau Power menjadi leader dalam solusi energi terbarukan. Didirikan pada tahun 2023, PT Aruna Hijau Power atau AHP lahir dari visi dan misi untuk menjawab tantangan energi masa depan. Kami berdedikasi untuk mendukung program energi terbarukan yang berkelanjutan dan berkontribusi dalam upaya mengurangi emisi karbon di Indonesia. Misi kami adalah menjadi penyedia energi listrik berbasis fotovoltaik terbaik di negeri ini. Sebagai bentuk komitmen kami untuk mendukung program pemerintah dalam pemanfaatan sumber energi terbarukan, kami membangun pembangkit listrik tenaga surya atau PLTS ground mounted terbesar di Indonesia dengan kapasitas 100 MW peak di Kota Bukit Indah Industrial City, Purwakarta. Proyek ini terwujud berkat kerjasama antara PLN dan Aruna PV untuk menyediakan listrik di kawasan industri Kota Bukit Indah. Tanggal 27 Oktober 2023, seremoni groundbreaking di Kota Bukit Indah Industrial City, Purwakarta menandai dimulainya pembangunan proyek ini. PLTS ini menggunakan sekitar 160.000 panel surya yang tersebar di 5 lokasi dengan total area lebih dari 80 hektar. Sistem ground mounted memastikan efisiensi maksimal dalam konversi tenaga matahari menjadi tenaga listrik untuk memenuhi kebutuhan industri. Tahapan pembangunan dimulai dengan land clearing pada 1 Februari 2024, diikuti dengan pemasangan screw pile pada 12 April, pemasangan mounting pada 8 Mei, dan pemasangan PV module pada 11 Mei. Pekerjaan utama telah selesai dilaksanakan pada 31 Juli 2024. Proyek PLTS ini tidak hanya mendukung kebutuhan energi baru terbarukan para tenan dari PT Tata Jabar Sejahtera di kawasan industri milik PT Beslan Pertiwi, tetapi juga berpotensi signifikan dalam mengurangi biaya energi. Melalui pembangunan PLTS berkapasitas 100 MW peak, PT Aruna Hijau Power menegaskan komitmennya kepada negara untuk menjadi pelopor dalam pemanfaatan sumber energi terbarukan dan berkelanjutan. Bersama PT Aruna Hijau Power, mari kita wujudkan masa depan Indonesia yang lebih hijau dan berkelanjutan. From nature to the future.
Di industri, di mana setiap milimeter adalah berharga, reliabilitas adalah jiwa dari setiap pekerjaan pengukuran dan pengetesan yang dilakukan. Oleh karena itu, Terminal Elektronika Sekawan hadir untuk memberikan reliabilitas pada setiap kebutuhan Anda untuk bekerja maupun pendidikan.
Sejak 1996, kami hadir menyediakan solusi lengkap bagi kebutuhan sektor manufaktur dan pendidikan dalam bidang alat uji dan ukur kelistrikan serta alat pelatihan untuk pendidikan teknik dengan ragam merek kelas dunia yang terpercaya dan dukungan after sales service yang berkualitas.
kami menyediakan layanan kalibrasi untuk berbagai alat ukur kelistrikan. Laboratorium kalibrasi kami telah tersertifikasi oleh CAN dan memiliki kapabilitas yang tinggi.
Standing majestically in the city of heroes to become a place for champions. Embracing all societies, creating a cultured campus, preserving the work of the nation's ancestors. Striving for achievement, igniting the fighting spirit of competition. Born from the basis of education and science, Universitas Negeri Surabaya is now increasingly independent by earning the status of legal entity university. Having established 5 campuses in East Java that are integrated, UNESA is ready to reach various groups to be able to pursue higher education. UNESA Campus 1 is located on Ketintang, Surabaya. There are 6 faculty buildings which include Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Economics and Business, Faculty of Social Science and Political Science, Faculty of Law, and Faculty of Vocation. Campus 2 UNESA is located on Lidah Wetan, Surabaya, with 7 main buildings, including the Rectorate Building, the Educational Institution and Professional Certification Building, and 5 faculty buildings which include Faculty of Educational Sciences, Faculty of Languages and Arts, Faculty of Sports and Health Sciences, Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Psychology, Professional Education, as well as a graduate school. 2 other campuses are spread across East Java. Campus 3 UNESA on Professor Dr. Mustopo Street, Surabaya. Campus 4 UNESA is located on Gedangan, Sidoarjo, as well as Campus 5 UNESA located in Magetan, East Java.
Selamat datang di kampus Rumah Para Juara, Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Sebagai perguruan tinggi negeri berbadan hukum, UNESA terus menggali potensi terbaik anak bangsa, menempa para talenta gemilang, dan menjadi kampus yang ramah bagi semua kalangan. Kami percaya bahwa melalui pendidikan, peradaban dapat kokoh berdiri dengan menciptakan ruang inovasi, kreativitas, dan berdaya saing global. memiliki program studi terakreditasi internasional maupun nasional. Kami berkomitmen memberikan pelayanan dan pendampingan bagi para mahasiswa dalam bidang akademik maupun non-akademik. Manumprit terbang di angkasa, terbang tinggi bersama rombongan. Ayo bangkit, wujudkan asa, bareng UNESA, satu langkah di depan.
Having accredited institutionally superior, UNESA continues to improve the quality of internationally standardized study programs through ASEAN, AQUAS, and FIBA-A accreditations. Improving rankings at national and international levels, Universitas Negeri Surabaya also develops a variety of research and innovative products. Implementing the autonomy of an independent university, UNESA welcomes a variety of business management around the campus area. Universitas Negeri Surabaya is committed to realizing excellent service in supporting learning and preparing qualified graduates in various fields. Home of outstanding champions, UNESA is a vessel for the exploration of the development of soft skills and hard skills. Partnering with various parties, both on national and international scales. UNESA has carved its name in the Indonesian Record Museum and won several awards at the Higher Education, Research and Technology Award in 2023. Opening several new student admission schemes, UNESA unlocks opportunities for all societies, ranging from the National Selection Scheme based on achievement, the National Selection based on tests, and the Independent Selection, which has 7 intakes, making UNESA a friendly campus for all people. Universitas Negeri Surabaya will continue this hard work to become a leading state university that is independent, sustainable, and environmentally friendly in Indonesia.
Program Studi S1 Teknik Elektro, Fakultas Teknik Universitas Negeri Surabaya, memiliki keunggulan utama dalam pengembangan teknologi yang mendukung 3 pusat unggulan UNESA, yaitu disabilitas, seni dan budaya, serta sport science. Keunggulan ini menjadi ciri khas yang membedakan Teknik Elektro UNESA dari program studi lainnya. Program studi ini dilengkapi dengan 15 laboratorium unggulan. Fasilitas ini dirancang untuk mendukung pembelajaran berbasis praktik dan inovasi teknologi. Kurikulum teknik elektro dirancang berdasarkan standar internasional. Minimal 20% dari total SKS kurikulum berfokus pada sains dan matematika, 40% pada topik-topik teknik elektro, dan 30% pada topik pendidikan umum. Mahasiswa juga aktif berpartisipasi dalam program Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka yang memungkinkan mereka terlibat dalam berbagai kegiatan pengembangan kompetensi. Teknik Elektro UNESA juga menjalin kerjasama internasional dengan lebih dari 20 institusi di 19 negara, termasuk Thailand, Malaysia, Jepang, Prancis, Taiwan, dan Brazil. Mahasiswa berkesempatan mengikuti program pertukaran pelajar, proyek kemanusiaan, dan kolaborasi penelitian dengan universitas ternama di tingkat global. Inovasi berbasis teknologi menjadi salah satu fokus utama, seperti pengembangan alat penghitung otomatis dalam sport science, teknologi robotika, hingga aplikasi komputasi cerdas. Hal ini selaras dengan misi UNESA dalam mendukung teknologi yang relevan dengan kebutuhan masyarakat modern. Mahasiswa Teknik Elektro UNESA terus mencetak prestasi gemilang di tingkat nasional dan internasional, di antaranya juara ketiga pada Second Rafty Student Innovation Award 2023 dan juara satu kontes robot terbang Indonesia divisi VTOL 2023. Semua ini membuktikan bahwa Teknik Elektro UNESA adalah rumah bagi talenta muda yang inovatif dan kompetitif. Lulusan Teknik Elektro UNESA memiliki prospek karir yang sangat luas di berbagai bidang. Mereka dapat berkarir sebagai praktisi di industri teknik elektro, peneliti yang berkontribusi dalam pengembangan teknologi, atau melanjutkan studi ke jenjang yang lebih tinggi. Selain itu, lulusan juga didorong untuk menjadi wirausahawan berbasis teknologi, menciptakan solusi inovatif yang mampu menjawab tantangan di era modern. Dengan kurikulum yang dirancang berdasarkan standar internasional dan pengalaman praktis yang mendalam, lulusan Teknik Elektro UNESA siap bersaing di tingkat nasional maupun global.
Selamat datang di Fakultas Teknik Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Fakultas Teknik UNESA adalah fakultas yang unggul dalam bidang pendidikan dan penelitian di bidang teknik, dengan visi menjadi fakultas yang tangguh, adaptif, dan inovatif dalam keilmuan bidang teknologi dan pendidikan kejuruan berorientasi kewirausahaan.
Fakultas Teknik Universitas Negeri Surabaya saat ini mempunyai 15 program studi sarjana, 7 program studi magister, dan 1 program studi pendidikan profesi, yaitu pendidikan profesi insinyur.
Sejarah panjang FT ini dimulai pada tahun 1970-an. Nama fakultasnya adalah Fakultas Pendidikan, Teknologi, dan Kejuruan, yang pada saat itu UNESA masih bernama Icvee Negeri Surabaya. Kemudian pada tahun 1999, maka Icvee Negeri Surabaya berubah nama menjadi Universitas Negeri Surabaya dan Fakultas Teknik berdiri. Jadi dari Fakultas Pendidikan, Teknologi, dan Kejuruan berubah menjadi Fakultas Teknik sampai sekarang. Nah, keunggulan Fakultas Teknik UNESA ini ada 2 paling utama. Yang satu dilihat dari dosennya, dan yang kedua dilihat dari sarprasnya. Kita punya dosen yang cukup qualified, ada 15 profesor, kemudian 60% sudah doktor, kemudian juga yang lain sudah S2, dan juga sarprasnya cukup memadai, baik ruang kelasnya, baik laboratoriumnya, baik bengkel kerjanya, sudah sangat memadai.
akreditasi yang ada di semua prodi di Fakultas Teknik itu ada 8 prodi yang sudah A dan sisanya adalah B, sehingga semuanya sangat memadai tentang akreditasi ini. Bahkan yang 6 itu sudah akreditasi internasional, yaitu 3 akreditasi in dan 3 atas.
Fakultas Teknik Universitas Surabaya telah menghasilkan berbagai proyek penelitian inovatif melalui kolaborasi antara dosen dan mahasiswa. Fakultas Teknik UNESA aktif berpartisipasi dalam berbagai kompetisi robotik, baik di tingkat nasional maupun internasional.
Kita juga menganut program untuk fast track. Jadi mahasiswa S1 di semester 7 bisa mengambil 2 yang linier ke S2 elektro maupun S2 teknik informatika atau S2 informatika itu bisa. Jadi kuliah di semester 7 untuk S1 dan kuliah S2 semester 1. Dan itu untuk SPP-nya cukup membayar yang S1 sehingga nanti dia bisa menyelesaikan studi itu bersamaan. Jadi setelah dia menyelesaikan S1-nya, diharapkan dia S2-nya juga selesai. Tapi memang fast track ini khusus untuk mahasiswa unggulan.
Fakultas Teknik UNESA memiliki komitmen untuk menghasilkan lulusan yang kompeten dan berkarakter. Hal ini diwujudkan melalui berbagai program pembelajaran yang inovatif dan berorientasi pada praktik, serta melalui berbagai kegiatan kemahasiswaan yang menunjang pengembangan diri mahasiswa.
Fakultas Teknik memiliki sarana-prasarana yang tersedia dan memang kami peruntukkan untuk adik-adik mahasiswa, di antaranya meliputi gedung perkuliahan, ruang-ruang kelas, ruang laboratorium, ruang ibadah, dan juga sarana untuk mereka berolahraga. Jadi bukan hanya dari sisi akademik, tapi juga non-akademik. Selain itu, Fakultas Teknik juga memiliki ruang baca yang memang di setiap rumpun itu ada. Kemudian ruang micro teaching, ya, ruang workshop, ruang dosen, ruang kelas, dan juga ruang himpunan untuk adik-adik mahasiswa di prodi. Untuk mensupport kegiatan mahasiswa di bidang kompetisi, baik itu nasional ataupun internasional, kami di bidang 2 memberikan strategi untuk peningkatan pendanaan. Jadi memberikan alokasi pendanaan kepada untuk bidang kemahasiswaan dan juga bekerja sama dengan pembina mahasiswa terkait dengan kompetisi-kompetisi yang nantinya adik-adik mungkin harus ikuti ya di luar sana sesuai dengan kemampuan dan sesuai dengan kompetensi yang mereka miliki.
Dengan fasilitas laboratorium yang lengkap dan ruang kelas yang mendukung, mahasiswa dapat mengembangkan keterampilan yang relevan dengan tuntutan dunia industri, sehingga akan menciptakan lulusan yang menjadi penggerak dalam inovasi dan kreativitas di bidang engineering. Berbagai pencapaian dari Fakultas Teknik UNESA membawa UNESA menjadi juara di berbagai kompetisi bertaraf nasional dan internasional. Seperti juara 2 robot terbang, juara 1 PIMNAS 2023, juara 2 robot nasional, juara 2 mobil hemat energi 2022. Pencapaian ini mendorong mahasiswa lain untuk berprestasi di bidang akademik dan non-akademik, yang membuat UNESA menjadi pusat riset dan inovasi yang berperan penting dalam pengembangan teknologi dan ilmu pengetahuan. Ayo bergabung dengan Fakultas Teknik UNESA. Fakultas Teknik pasti lebih baik. Untuk UNESA, satu langkah di depan.
Selamat datang di masa depan energi Indonesia, di mana inovasi bertemu dengan komitmen untuk keberlanjutan. PT Aruna Hijau Power menjadi leader dalam solusi energi terbarukan. Didirikan pada tahun 2023, PT Aruna Hijau Power atau AHP lahir dari visi dan misi untuk menjawab tantangan energi masa depan. Kami berdedikasi untuk mendukung program energi terbarukan yang berkelanjutan dan berkontribusi dalam upaya mengurangi emisi karbon di Indonesia. Misi kami adalah menjadi penyedia energi listrik berbasis fotovoltaik terbaik di negeri ini. Sebagai bentuk komitmen kami untuk mendukung program pemerintah dalam pemanfaatan sumber energi terbarukan, kami membangun pembangkit listrik tenaga surya atau PLTS ground mounted terbesar di Indonesia dengan kapasitas 100 MW peak di Kota Bukit Indah Industrial City, Purwakarta. Proyek ini terwujud berkat kerjasama antara PLN dan Aruna PV untuk menyediakan listrik di kawasan industri Kota Bukit Indah. Tanggal 27 Oktober 2023, seremoni groundbreaking di Kota Bukit Indah Industrial City, Purwakarta menandai dimulainya pembangunan proyek ini. PLTS ini menggunakan sekitar 160.000 panel surya yang tersebar di 5 lokasi dengan total area lebih dari 80 hektar. Sistem ground mounted memastikan efisiensi maksimal dalam konversi tenaga matahari menjadi tenaga listrik untuk memenuhi kebutuhan industri. Tahapan pembangunan dimulai dengan land clearing pada 1 Februari 2024, diikuti dengan pemasangan screw pile pada 12 April, pemasangan mounting pada 8 Mei, dan pemasangan PV module pada 11 Mei. Pekerjaan utama telah selesai dilaksanakan pada 31 Juli 2024. Proyek PLTS ini tidak hanya mendukung kebutuhan energi baru terbarukan para tenan dari PT Tata Jabar Sejahtera di kawasan industri milik PT Beslan Pertiwi, tetapi juga berpotensi signifikan dalam mengurangi biaya energi. Melalui pembangunan PLTS berkapasitas 100 MW peak, PT Aruna Hijau Power menegaskan komitmennya kepada negara untuk menjadi pelopor dalam pemanfaatan sumber energi terbarukan dan berkelanjutan. Bersama PT Aruna Hijau Power, mari kita wujudkan masa depan Indonesia yang lebih hijau dan berkelanjutan. From nature to the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the main hall and welcome to the conference this morning. We now begin our keynote sessions featuring 3 distinguished experts who will share their insights on energy system, intelligent technology, and sustainable innovations. Allow me to introduce in general our keynote speakers. First is Professor Ahmed Abu Siada of Curtin University, Australia. Thank you very much. And also we have Professor Dr. Wahyudi Hasbi of National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia, and also Professor Dr. Lili Anifa of State University of Surabaya. The combined sessions will be moderated by our colleagues of Department of Electrical Engineering, State University of Surabaya, Ibu Pradini Puspitaning Ayu, PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our moderator, Ibu Pradini Puspitaning Ayu, PhD.
Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, and participants of the 8th International Conference on Vocational Education and Electrical Engineering, Temu Nasional Forte, and Seminar Nasional Teknik Elektro 2025. My name is Pradini Puspitaning Ayu, and it is truly an honor for me to moderate the keynote session this morning. I extend a warm welcome to all participants who have joined us here today to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and strengthen our collective commitment to shape a sustainable future for education and intelligent technology advancement. Soon we are privileged to hear from the 3 distinguished keynote speakers whose expertise spans from power systems, satellite technology, and artificial intelligence. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speakers, Professor Ahmed Abu Siada from Curtin University, Dr. Eng Wahyudi Hasbi from the Satellite Technology Research Center, BRIN, Indonesia, and also Dr. Lili Anifa from Electrical Engineering Department, Universitas Negeri Surabaya. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm round of applause as they join me on the stage. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for agreeing to be the keynote speakers of the Icvee 2024, which this year is very special because we are holding it in conjunction with Temu Nasional Forte and SNTE 2025. Here is how our keynote session will be proceeded. Each keynote speaker will have 45 minutes of their presentations, and once the 3 keynote speakers deliver their talks, we will have a 15 minutes Q&A session. Since the Icvee also offering a hybrid mode, so for participants of Icvee who are currently joining on Zoom, you can also ask your question through the chat box or virtually raise your hand. To begin, our first keynote speaker will be delivered by Professor Ahmed Abu Siada. He is a professor of electrical engineering and head of electrical engineering discipline at Curtin University. He is internationally recognized for his contribution to power system protection, renewable energy integration, and smart grids, with pioneering research in transformer condition monitoring, asset management, and superconducting magnetic energy storage applications. Today, he will present his keynote on frequency response analysis for power transformer condition monitoring. Please welcome Professor Ahmed Abu Siada.
Okay, good morning everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed and it is my pleasure to be invited to this conference. I would like first to thank you all for giving me the time to present this topic for you for 40 minutes. I would also like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to come to Surabaya to deliver this talk. This talk, I know we have diverse background in the room here, so I will try to make it general. And I will talk slowly, not because it's my nature, it's because I have come through overnight flight and I didn't sleep since last night. So please give me an excuse if I talk very slowly. So my talk today is about power transformer, and I think everyone in the room knows the importance of power transformer, which is a very important link in any electricity grid. If you have any failure in one of these components, it will not cause only loss of revenue due to business interruption and replacement of the equipment, but it can lead to catastrophic failures like push fire or oil spillage in case of transformer. So we have to look after the high voltage assets in any network, including power transformer, overhead transmission line, and underground cable. And the main reason here is to increase the reliability of your power system and decrease any catastrophic failure that might arise due to catastrophic failures. And that example is a very good example for us, the recent fire in Heathrow substation transformer that led to the cancellation of more than 1,000 flights and left close to 70,000 houses without light. That was because of the fire captured in the winding of this transformer. If we have reliable real-time condition monitoring and smart condition monitoring for this transformer, we may have avoided this catastrophic failure. And the concern about condition monitoring is increasing with the aging of the asset. Because if you look at this trend of failure, it's increasing when we have aged or old assets, which is the case in most of the power transformers or power equipment in Indonesia and in Australia. In Australia, for example, the infrastructure was built 70 years ago. And that increases the likelihood of fault in power transformers and power lines. So we have to look after all of these equipment from day one of installation until we replace them by a new equipment. So why power transformer is very important? Because power transformer is a very complex piece of equipment. You can't see what is happening inside. Look at what we have here. We have mainly winding, we have tabbet changer, we have washing. So the fault can be initiated at any of these components. And according to some statistics, the fault happens mainly in the winding, followed by the tabbet changer. Tabbet changer is automatic gear that it changes the turns of ratio of the transformer. So industry now adopting a lot of measurements to check the health condition of the transformer, like your blood test, for example. We have a similar test for that transformer called dissolved gas analysis, in which we take a sample, but not blood, oil, and test the gases inside that oil. Based on the type of the gas and amount of this gas, we can come up with a conclusion if our transformer is healthy or has something fault inside it. The problem with these techniques, which are summarized here, is most of these techniques are based on smart sensors, and these smart sensors need to work, need to function in a severe condition, a very noisy background, a severe electromagnetic field, so the reliability and accuracy of these sensors will be reduced, of course. The cost of the sensor is high, and also most of these techniques are offline. Look at I'm not calling them one by one, but if you look at the chart here, you can see most of the tests are offline. So you may have a fault already initiated in the transformer, hidden fault you can't see, and you can't detect until your routine test. Most of utilities making a routine test every 6 months. So you may have a spark inside, and that's what happened in Heathrow substation. The transformer had a spark, initial spark, very small spark inside, but they didn't notice it until it explodes. So I will take just one example today, and if I have time, I can talk about another example. So the case study here is about frequency response analysis, and I will tell you why I selected this one. So frequency response analysis, again, for those who are sitting in the room with diverse background, you may know that any transformer can be represented by equivalent electrical circuit. So comprising resistance, inductance, and capacitor. So the winding, oil, and the core can be represented by cascaded electrical circuits, like this circuit here. So that's the circuit for, equivalent circuit for the transformer in high frequency domain. Let me just go through it. That's the low voltage winding, which can be represented by inductance and resistance. And because we have paper insulation between them, so the paper insulation can be represented by capacitance and dielectric conductance. The same here for the high voltage winding. We have low voltage winding and high voltage winding in the transformer. Between them, we have to isolate them by paper again, insulation. And between the low voltage winding and the core, we have another insulation. All of these windings are immersed in oil, and the oil can be also represented by capacitance and dielectric conductance. So what are you seeing here is the equivalent circuit for all components inside the transformer in high frequency domain. So if we have any fault inside the transformer, will it change these components? Will it change the inductive, resistive, and capacitive components? And that can be seen in the frequency response of the transformer, because as you know, capacitive components and inductive components are frequency dependent, if you remember XL and XC. So if there is any change in the physical dimension or placement of the winding, that can be shown in the frequency response of the transformer. So what's the industry practice? That's the current industry practice. You have to take the transformer out of service. Like when you do blood test, you have to go to the clinic. So we must disconnect the transformer. Then connect this small device, which is called a frequency response analyzer. This frequency response analyzer injects low voltage, only 10 volt, but in wide frequency domain, because you need to scan the transformer from very low frequency, as low as 10 hertz, to very high frequency, as high as 2 megahertz. And why we need that? Because we need to check the inductive. Inductive will be seen in the low frequency range, and the capacitive, which will be seen in the high frequency range. So we need to do that. And because the transformer is operating at power frequency 50 hertz, of course, we can't conduct this test online. So back to the basic again. If we have RLC connected in series, you know, we all know that if XL equal XC, there will be a point here, we called it resonance frequency, right? In which the impedance, total impedance will be minimum, and at this point the frequency is called resonance frequency, in which the angle will be changed from minus 90 inductive to plus 90 capacitive, right? How about if they are connected in parallel? Again, that will be the opposite. If we take the reciprocal of the impedance, susceptance, okay, that will be the opposite, and we will have a big impedance. Let us call it anti-resonant point. So if we have series element, we'll have minimum point. If we have shunt elements, we'll have maximum point. How about if we have a circuit like this, which represents the transformer? The transformer has many windings, many discs. So what we expect? We expect that this device will measure a signature like this. So that's what you will get from this device, a signature like that for the three phases, phase A, phase B, phase C. You may notice three colors in the diagram here, representing the three phases. So this one here, representing in y-axis, is impedance or admittance or transfer function. X-axis, frequency, from 10 hertz to 2 megahertz. Okay? And what you see here, you see minimum point and maximum point because of the series and parallel elements inside the transformer. So what we do with that? This one will be considered as a fingerprint for the transformer. So we will consider that as a fingerprint and compare it with any previous measurement. If we have any change between the two fingerprints or two measurements, that will be an indication for a fault. How about if we don't have, like in Indonesia here, you have all the transformers and you don't have all the measurements, for example. So what we do, we compare the three phases together. We expect that each phase, phase A, phase B, phase C, will give us the same response, right? And if you look at this one here, you will see that almost they are identical. So we can say that, okay, this transformer doesn't have anything wrong because all phases are giving us the same response. Even if you are not expert and you look at this one here, you will see that one of the phases, the white one, is significantly deviated from the other two phases. That will be an indication for a fault. So something wrong happening in this one here. And now you have to open your transformer and see what is happening inside. You don't have window, you don't have glasses to see what is happening inside. Now it's time to disconnect your transformer, take it to a repair shop, and see what is happening in this particular phase. So when we took this one to the repair shop, the suspected phase here, and started to unwrap the winding, can you see the carbon tracking spots here? So these ones here were sparks happening underneath. And that was shown in another test called dissolved gas analysis, like blood test, as I said. When they took the blood test, they detected a significant amount of acetylene. Acetylene is an indication for arcing inside the transformer. So underneath what they found that the reason was that wire here, which was loose, and it started to generate acetylene and partial discharge under the winding. If we leave this transformer, because we don't see what's happening inside, it may explode, like what happened in the transformer I showed you in Heathrow. Let us take another case. This case here, if you look at this one, is it healthy or there is fault here? Healthy, because we can see that the three phases are almost identical. Don't worry about the one in the left-hand side. This one here, I don't have pointer, but that one is due to residual flux. So they are almost identical, and the transformer can be reported as healthy one. But if you look at this one here, we have significant differences between the three phases. So at least two winding will have something wrong inside, and we have to open all of them. It's not only one suspected phase, because all of them are different from each other. So when this one was taken to the repair shop, I think you can notice the buckling. Can you see the buckling, that deviation? I will just highlight it here. That there was electromagnetic force happened inside the transformer. You know, inside the transformer we have magnetic flux. And magnetic flux with the short circuit current can interact and generate a huge electromechanical force that can cause buckling to the winding, like this one here. If you look from inside, from inside you can see the buckling here. The problem with the buckling is it's of progressive nature, which means after 1 week it will increase, after 2 weeks will increase again, and then will end up by having a fire in your transformer if you don't detect it in real time. So what are the drawbacks with the current industry practice? Two things. One, in measurements, as we noticed, it is offline. So I can't wait for like 1 year or 3 years to measure it again and to see what is wrong happening inside the transformer. And also this technique cannot detect minor faults. The accuracy is very low. The other drawback is in the analysis of the signature. Yes, we know that there is a fault because of the difference, but what kind of fault, location of fault, we don't know. And there are no standard codes for that. It all relies on the level of expertise. So maybe I can give this signature to 3 people, experts, and they may come with 3 different conclusions of this one because the lack of the standard codes. And that would be a good point for researchers who are interested in this, is to look at how to establish standard codes for FRA. Okay, so how can we solve these problems as researchers? Can we come up with online technique for measurements? The second point is, can we come up with reliable interpretation techniques based on artificial intelligence, for example? So that will be the next part of my presentation. So let us talk about online. And again, from the fundamentals, all of us know that that signal here is called impulse signal, right? Impulse signal has a very high magnitude in a very short duration. And this signal mathematically is the difference between two exponential functions. If, for those who are good in mathematics, if you analyze this signal in frequency domain, you will find a lot of frequency components already in this time domain signal. So the question was, can we use the impulse signal as a natural source for frequency response? Remember, what we need a variable frequency range. Okay? And that's why we use that small device, frequency response analyzer. So people came with this idea, said that we have already impulse function coming from lightning, for example, or impulse function coming from transient operation, switching or disconnecting any component that will create transient. So can we use this transient in the system as a natural source to plot the frequency response signature? So this company in Florida investigated this in this transformer. This transformer is three single-phase transformers. And what they have at that time, this one located in Florida. Florida is a state which has a lot of thunderstorms and lightning. So they try to use the advantage of having lightning to plot the frequency response for the winding. And they succeeded in this. If you look at this one here, this signature is in real time. The transformer is connected. We didn't have any frequency response analyzer. That's coming from thunderstorm. Okay? And they plotted the admittance against frequency, as you can see here. Then after 1 month, they changed the tab changer to another tab, and they remeasured it. And they found that it is very accurate and can detect any variation inside the transformer. But the problem is, not all locations will be suitable to give you a good thunder or lightning signal, like in Indonesia here, to plot the FRA. So this one here is not feasible, not applicable for all transformers or all areas, and people started to think about other methods. So people, and that was at the research stage, thought about using impulse generator. And they said that, okay, I don't need to wait for a lightning signal. I can bring this generator, small generator, which can give me just impulse, 500 volt. I can connect it with a transformer for a few milliseconds, and that one will plot the FRA. And that one succeeded as well. And if you look at this one here, one is generated from that small transformer, and the other one is generated from the frequency response analyzer. They're almost typical, right? So the research idea is good, but not feasible, again. Because if I go to BLN now and ask them to give me access to one of their operating transformers to connect 500 volt to the transformer, they will be reluctant to give me. But in research-wise, yes, people did some work, including my research team, on custom-made transformer like that, and we got good results. Okay, I will just skip this part and go to another method also researchers thought about. The problem here is in frequency, right? The transformer should operate at 50 or 60 hertz, and we can't connect any external device that give us frequency from 10 hertz to 2 megahertz. So we thought about another method at power frequency, at 50 hertz. So we said that we don't need variable frequency, and all what I need is to measure the current and voltage at 50 hertz, and I will measure that in real time, and I will consider that as my fingerprint. So what we did, we measured the voltage and the current at both sides of the transformer, and we plotted a locus between the difference of the voltage between the two sides against the input current. Mathematically, if you do some mathematics, this relationship between the difference of voltage and the input current will be always an ellipse. Okay, so that will be an illustration, graphical illustration of the technique. All what I need is the sinusoidal measurement of the voltage and the current at both sides of the transformer, which already there. In the infrastructure, we have already protection devices We have control devices that measure the current and voltage. So I don't need to connect any external device. All what I need is access to the instantaneous voltage and the current, and in each power cycle, 20 millisecond on 50 hertz basis, I can plot this fingerprint. And that can be considered as a fingerprint of the transformer. And the question now, will this fingerprint change due to particular faults inside the transformer? That's the second phase of the research, which you might be interested in. So what kind of faults you can apply inside the transformer? You may have short circuit fault like this. Short circuit fault can happen due to the insulation degradation or aging. You may have disk space deviation like that due to the huge electromagnetic force. You have seen practical one, which I showed you before. You may have leakage fault. Can you see the current? That's all oil. And because of the aging of the oil, the dielectric capability will be decreased, and it may leak some of the current to the tank. You may have axial displacement. Sorry. Axial displacement is when you have two components of the forces acting on the same winding, but they are not balanced. So that will lead to the movement of the winding in axial direction. Or you may have buckling like this, like the example I have shown you. So let us see the impact of each of these faults on the proposed fingerprint. Remember, I'm not measuring it in frequency domain. I don't need frequency range here. I'm measuring it at 50 hertz only. Then if I start from the healthy case, that's healthy without any fault, and if I increase the fault, that fault here is disk space variation. If I increase the fault level, look what will happen to the fingerprint. Will rotate to the right without increasing the area, which is good. So I can see some impact on my fingerprint for this kind of fault. If I look at another fault, axial displacement, starting from healthy transformer, we don't have any fault inside the transformer, but now I will consider axial with different levels. When I increase the level of fault, what will happen? Doesn't rotate, but you can see that the area is decreasing when I increase the fault level, which is good also. If you look at this fault, you can see that if the transformer is healthy, that's my fingerprint here, but when I have a fault with different level, it will rotate to the right. If I increase it, rotate again, and the area is increasing. So that means the technique is working and can give me distinguished impact on the fingerprint for every type of fault. So you can see that the effect or impact of each fault on the fingerprint in terms of the rotation and the area. You can also, if you have access to any transformer, you can validate this technique using practical, which we did, practical measurements or experimental measurements. We did it on different transformers, and we obtained almost the same results as our simulation. By the way, if you change the load, it's of course normal that the ellipse will change, but will change like this in a different way. Look at this here, it's not rotating, but they are almost parallel to each other. However, also with using some mathematical equations, you can normalize the measurements, and without, regardless the load variation, you can always get that fingerprint using only normalization of your results. And now we are talking about artificial intelligence, digital image processing, and people are talking about AI, using AI. Of course, AI can be used here. To automate the interpretation and the analysis, we can come up with a technique based on AI or digital image processing, which also we did. And we measured some basic feature of that fingerprint, like centroid, area, perimeter, major axis, minor axis, different geometrical dimensions. And the reason here is we need to automate the analysis. We don't need to leave it to engineering. Of course, you have to use engineering judgment in anyhow, but to automate the process and to get alarm immediately in the control center, we try to write a code to provide that alarm. So based on digital image processing, we came up with that report comparing the ellipse. Every 20 milliseconds, the measurements will be taking place, and that comparison will happen, and then you will get a report in the control center like this, and that report will tell you if your transformer is healthy or not. That's just what you will see in the control center is like this: the measurements and the ellipse, and then the report. Do I still have time? Okay. That's a quick comparison between the current industry practice, the offline technique, and the online technique we are proposing. Offline technique is the only technique used now by the industry, which is based on using frequency response analyzer, take your transformer out of service, and measure the frequency or scan it in a wide frequency span. The other online techniques, we have two methods now. One is based on the impulse function that can come from lightning or come from transient operation, but that one is not feasible. The other one is based on Icvee measurement at power frequency, but that one is still in research stage, and we have a device connected to a transformer at the moment, hasn't commercialized yet. The main idea is, while engineers in the control center are sitting there, if there is any deviation or any suspicion in the transformer, it will give an early alarm so that they can look at what is happening and they take remedial action to avoid any catastrophic failure. Artificial intelligence, again, people who are good in mathematics and like to use optimization and artificial intelligence, they may come up with a solid technique to detect internal faults inside the transformer. For example, that's one of the proposal we put for new researchers. So in one side, you can take our fingerprint, the graphical print. In the other side, you can estimate the electrical parameters. Using artificial intelligence now or optimization techniques, you can estimate the values of RLC, right, inside the transformer, using just simple equations or maybe state space representation of your transformer. So now you can have two fingerprints. One is based on numerical analysis, in graphical analysis, which is in the left-hand side, and one is based on numerical analysis, estimating the parameters. And these parameters will be your, again, fingerprint. For example, if you have your resistance is 1 ohm, but after, say, 5 months or 1 year, when you measured it, you found it 0.5 ohm. What does it mean? It means that you have short circuit somewhere. Your resistance is reduced. And then you have now to see what is happening inside your transformer. So to have more accurate method, 1.5 minutes, okay. Sorry. So you can have that technique, and that's good for, if we have any PhD students or researchers, that's good for them to integrate both techniques together and compare the outcome. If the outcome coincide, yes, with 100% confidence, you can say that's the fault type. But if they are different, you may go back and see the real fault and tune your code again to increase the accuracy of your program. We have done some work on that based on the artificial intelligence and optimization, and also based on the state space representation. And that's the circuit again. You can come up with state space representation equations like this. And actually, when we did the matrix, sorry, you can't see because of the resolution, but it was very interesting to see that matrix. This was published. The matrix, when you divide it, you find that it has 4 components. One is C components, L components, and I did zero matrix or identity matrix. We used also artificial intelligence based on particle swarm optimization and genetic algorithm to estimate the value of RLC, and that was also very, of good accuracy. Like, for example, if you look at this one here, one of the plots here is obtained from the measurements, the calculated one, and the other 2 are calculated from genetic algorithm and particle swarm optimization. You can see that they are of good agreement, which means you can use these techniques to estimate the RLC parameters. And we have done that in numerical example, which you can see here. You can see the values of RLC calculated, which are actual value, and then estimated by genetic algorithm or particle swarm optimization. They are very close to each other. And that will help you in identifying a fault if happens. For example, let me show you this fault. That fault happened in one real transformer, and you can see that in the red phase, right? Because phase B and C are almost typical, but phase A is different. So we traced the phase A here using our techniques, PSO or genetic algorithm, and using these techniques we try to estimate the values of RLC using simple equations. And that was the result. You can see that when we estimated the parameters, we found that the value of L here is changed from the fingerprint, from the original value. And that one coincides with the nature of fault. Look at the nature of fault here is in the low frequency range. Low frequency range is always impacted by the inductive components. High frequency range is impacted by capacitive components. So when we saw that change, it coincides with the engineering judgment here, where you have to use engineering judgment for new generation of engineers. Please don't rely on artificial intelligence or any results coming from any software without using your engineering judgment, because if it doesn't make sense to what you have studied in engineering, of course you have to refuse that and you have to review it again. The good thing about this technique is we can use it for other applications. We can use it for overhead transmission lines and underground cables, but that will be another topic I can present in another event. The other drawback I talked about is, I have just a few minutes, but the other drawback is, as we said, the analysis of the results. Analysis rely on a level of expertise, inconsistent because of the lack of codes, standard codes. So again, here you can use also artificial intelligence. You can use, for example, digital image processing again, or you can use any of the artificial intelligence genetic algorithm here to automate the analysis of the signature. One of the techniques, I'll just go for one of the techniques we proposed, is this one here. The frequency response analyzer will give you two plots. One is the magnitude against frequency, and one is the angle against frequency. In industry practice, they only use the magnitude. So what we suggested in my research group is to combine them together in one group, combining them in one group called polar plot. So that will give me a polar plot in 2D like this. And that will allow me to have more information, because without we are not relying only on magnitude plot. We are relying on magnitude and the angle as well. So all of these informations are in this plot, polar plot, in 2D plot. Then this 2D plot can be analyzed using digital image processing, which we did, and we succeeded in automating this the process, the interpretation process, and the code can give you the type of fault, level of fault, and location of fault. Some other people took it like 3-dimension, magnitude, frequency, and phase angle. And that also will give you more accuracy than relying on, again, just one graphical plot. I will stop here to give you time to ask questions, and sorry if the topic is in just power engineering. I try to make it as general as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, Professor, the Q&A session will be held after all the keynote speakers have finished.
Thank you.
All good. Thank you, Professor Ahmed, for that insightful presentation. Our second keynote will be delivered by Dr. Ing Wahyudi Hasbi. He is a research professor and head of Satellite Technology Research Center at BRIN, Indonesia. He holds a degree in physics, computer science, and engineering, completing his doctorate at Technische Universität Berlin. He has played a central role in national satellite missions and is currently leading the development of next-generation platforms like NEO-1 and the Nusantara Sat constellation. He served as the chair of IEEE Indonesia Section 2021 to 2022. Beyond his work at BRIN, Dr. Hasbi is also serving as guest professor at Beihang University, China and Hokkaido University, Japan. Internationally, he is active in satellite policy forums, collaborating with ITU and United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs, and received multiple honors, including Satya Lancana Wirakarya, the Innovation Hero Award, and the IEEE Region 10 Award. His keynote today, entitled Green Space Systems, Small Satellite Innovation and Multi-Application Research for Intelligent and Sustainable Future. Please welcome Dr. Ing Wahyudi Hasbi.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank organizer of Icvee and also UNESA to invite me here for giving a speech of this conference. I believe that this conference will be fruitful for all of us because we have so many experts here and discuss many varieties of technical aspect on in our life, and also, of course, because this will be a very good moment because we have 4 days, of course. And I believe that this also will increase our networking session later on. Okay, without further ado, I would like to start my session now. So the title will be talking mostly about the small satellite innovation and multi-application research for the intelligent and sustainable futures. Maybe you can go ahead. Next, please. Okay, so based on the SDGs that already decided by United Nations, we have 17 goals of SDGs that every aspect of the humanity is actually divided into 17 goals that we should have this SDGs in 2030. And then if we look to this space role on these SDGs, we can see there are a lot of aspects that involving space activities. So for example, for no poverty goals, the Earth observation satellite and also satellite communication also playing a big role in this case. And also for zero hunger, how we reduce the zero hunger. Now we have MBG program now in Indonesia too, right? So we need to have all the communication aspect to support this program as well. So when you see all these 17 goals, there are several aspects that, of course, the space activities are really playing a big role here. Next. And then also, this is again another roles of the remote sensing satellite on the 17 goals. And then next slide, please. And then you can see here in our national program itself, we do have several usage, right? So at first, the satellite also used for Earth observation, telecommunication, and as well for the navigation. Without GPS, you cannot make any order of food, or you cannot go to your colleague house or to some places that you never know before. So this is why the space is very important, and this is very important as well for Indonesia. Next one. So, and then you see here in the Indonesia is actually the 3rd country in the world using a satellite since 1976. So we are the 3rd country in the world after United States, Canada, and then Indonesia that having the satellite communication. And then also because we are consist of 17,000 islands, of course, then we need a satellite system. You cannot rely on cables optic through all the 17,000 islands, right? So that's the reason why we need capacity. We need telecommunication satellite and other satellite to support the development of our country. Next. Now you see here the satellite that belongs to Indonesia, we don't have too much. So you see that from the telecommunication satellite, we have only several, and you know in Indonesia we only have several satellite operators, starting from Telkom and then also the PSN. Other than that, nobody. So except now we are trying to have a development in the LEO satellite, supported by LAPAN, now BRIN. But that's all what we have now. So we really need to increase this capacity as well. Next. And then this one of the example how the satellite also used for the agriculture. By using the remote sensing satellite, you can make a prediction how or when you will have crops ready to get your paddy crops really ready for that. And then also you see down there, you can even predict how big, how fertilizers is required for your paddy rice area. So that's the reason why we need this satellite technology as well. Okay, next. Then this is another example how we can monitor the hotspot. And you remember that for Indonesia, if we have this kind of hotspots, it's really to make other country beside us getting angry, right? Because smokes will come to their country and they will complain us. So this the reason for us very importantly to monitor this hotspot and try to avoid that one. And now this become very crucial because all the government's body have to be involved in this monitoring and also to avoid these hotspots happen. And of course, this also be done every day by the satellite monitoring. Next. And this is if you mention about the baseline that what we have in Indonesia, we already have the Indonesian Space Act or Undang-Undang number 21 in 2013. This is about the Space Act of Indonesia, and then also we do have several government regulation, and there are two important government regulation. Number 7, 2023 is about the mastery of space technology. And also there is another government regulation number 11, 2018. It's about the procedure of organizing the remote sensing activities of in Indonesia. And of course, we currently have the national space roadmap. It is based on the presidential decree number 45 in 2017. And of course, now we are currently make the evaluation based on the new administration in Indonesia as well. And you can see here, this is the goals that we would like to have until 2040. But now, because everybody's talking about 2045, then we need to evaluate this once again. So we have to make the more roadmap. Okay. And this is the two orbit that we have now. So we have the polar orbit and equatorial orbit of the satellite, and because we are spread between east to west, so it is very important for us to know about the orbital characteristic of Indonesia. Okay, then that's why we can have this this kind of orbit. You see how we can mapping the area of Indonesia as well, from SSO or from north to south or from west to east. Next. This is the three satellites that I would like to talk more details about that one. And you see here, we already map our country by our own satellite. We call it NKRI Hargamati mission, that we map our Indonesian by using our own satellite, of course. And also during a disaster, we use the satellite also to monitor our country. We also use the satellite for monitor our maritime. As you can see, we can monitor all the ship around Indonesia and even all over the world. And during a disaster, we use the satellite as well for a communication. Next. And this is the first satellite that we have. This is we call it 8E1 or 8Tubsat satellite. This is the very old satellite now in the world. The age is 18 years and amazingly still active. I will show you the last image that we have. You see how we can control the satellite so that we can even clearly see what happens in ground. So it's like playing a joystick. So you are like a gamers, you go forward, backward by using your joystick mode. See, we can go here and there. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, this is the way that we develop our satellite. Next. This will be very interesting for you. I would like to show you a video when we took Dubai area. So we fly over Iran, and we use the video camera. This is called low resolution camera. You can speed up a bit, 2 times please. You can make speed up. Okay, so we are flying in the Middle East, and then you see the satellite speed is actually 7.5 kilometer per second, but we control the satellite like we are as a drone. We go forward, backward, and then okay, can you make it speed up a bit so we can go further? And the resolution of the satellite is actually 200 meters, so it's quite low resolution, and the swath of the image is about 70 kilometers. Okay, and then we will go through up to near Dubai. Okay, now we almost arrive in Dubai. So you are like astronaut, you are in the plane and you want to take a picture. Now it's like we are stopping, which is not true because the satellite is moving 7.5 kilometers per second, but looks like we are stopping, which is not. And then now it's the time to switch on to the high resolution camera. So you see the Dubai city is there. Then we switch on to the very high resolution camera. Now we have 5-meter resolution instead of 200-meter resolution. And now you see ships moving around. Okay, this is a big ship, of course. Now we are entering the Dubai city, Palm Jumeirah. And with this capability, we can go around the city looking what they are doing and so on. This video is captured in 2009, 2 years after we launched our first satellite. And yeah, you see that we are controlling satellite like having with the behavior like a drone one. Okay, maybe next because it's quite long. And then okay, no, you go further, please. Okay, now for you, no, please, one more step, backward, no, backward. For those who believe that Earth is flat, I believe you will be disappointed by seeing this video. Now we are looking to the space. Now you see the beautiful of our Earth, which is not flat, unfortunately. Okay, now we can go further and then we can look around, and you see this image is this video taken in February 2025 after 18 years of the satellite in orbit. Maybe next we have another video, of course, too. Next. So this is the telemetry that we get from the satellite after 18 years. So you see that temperature is quite low. We have -1 degree. We have the middle plate of the satellite is like 5 degree, and the minus X or plus X is about -1.4 and so on. So the condition in space is quite difficult, of course, because that's the reason why space is very hard. Okay, next. Now, after we have the image in 2009, now we go back again in 2018, 2019, and then we again capture the Dubai. Now with the different sensor, with the different camera, you see the red color. The red colors means this is a false color, red, green, and near infrared combined. So that's why it's very sensitive to the vegetation. And now you see that Dubai is quite become a green. And I remember 3 years ago when we captured the Mecca area, then we saw quite impressive agriculture is growing, vegetation is growing, and people start to saying, oh, maybe Kiamat is closing now. because as you see, yeah? So the middle is become greener, means maybe, but we don't know, okay? Okay, next. Now the satellite also used during a disaster, and then because the satellite is moving in equatorial orbit, so our colleague in South America also use the satellite to make a communication. Every weekend we switch on the satellite so that they can use it. We also teach how the student can make a small antenna by using the a water pipe and a small rope, and then they can make antenna and point to the satellite, and they can make a communication. Next. Okay, this is another things that they are also we are supporting during a disaster. Next.
Eu sou a professora Ana Paula de Ciências e Biologia aqui da Escola Estadual Gonçalves Dias.
This is our friend from South American. They switch on the satellite when they go to the Amazon forest. So they go to Amazon forest, and this is the professor. He was in the Amazon forest, and he make a communication to his colleague in the city, because there is no communication at all. And we are and he's very happy with the result. And you can see the boundary there. This is the circle is actually the coverage area of our satellite when it's moving. Next. Okay, then we use also the satellite to locate where the kidnappers kidnap our crew of ships. In Indonesia, and it's become very big news during that time. Next one. So you can identify that one, and also, of course, we can identify where a ship hit our coral reef in Papua. The problem in Indonesia is because once we get this information, and this bad guy is already gone. Okay, so but anyway, we sue them by using this data, because this is A1 data. This is very raw data, and everybody can see this is a valid data. They ground there for 8 hours, so that now is still in the court. Next. And this also when one of the ship is missing, it's carry nickel ore with the value like $60 million, but suddenly it's disappeared, and we try to locate them, the last position that they have, by using the satellite. Next. This also during the COVID, there is a news in the newspaper saying that there is a mysterious ship entering Indonesia and nobody knows, which is not true, because we know them. By using this data, we know that this ship is coming from Australia and they go to our country. Okay, next. Now we also measure the Earth magnetic field, because there is a rumor saying that the North and South Pole is now changing, and if this happen, we know what will happen, right? Which is not true, because the North Pole and South Pole still there in that position. So the left is coming from our satellite, and the right one is coming from the European satellite. And you can read this result in the Journal of IEEE as well. Next. So this is the comparison between our satellite and other foreign satellite. So compare the wavelength and so on. Next. And then this is the payload that we have in our Lapan satellite. We have a multispectral camera, we have a video camera, and also another sensor there. Next. So this is the composition of the payload. Okay, next. And then this is when we make the flight test, we have to use a plane to test the camera on board. And then this is when we integrate the satellite in our place. Next one. And we make the ADCS requirement. We have to calculate how big is the geometry analysis, and how can we compensate that one with our attitude control system. Next. And this is how we can make the satellite acquisition of the image. So before we take the image, we of course make a planning first. Then, for example, the left is the target area that we want to capture that one. Then we make some planning and we submit to the satellite. And then by the time we can take the image and download the image down there. Next. And this is another calibration process, of course. Something in the space may be different in the ground, so we have to make some calibration. So we use this area in Kupang because the area is quite flat, and also you see the sky. The sky is very clean, so we use that area for the calibration purpose. Next. And then this is also another study that we make the atmospheric correction for our data, because our Indonesian atmosphere is of course different with other countries as well. So we have to make some correction and also for our remote sensing data. Next. And this is another comparison between our satellite and other foreign satellite. Can you imagine that Landsat 8 cost is about 700 million US dollar, but our satellite is cost maybe only 10 million, so it's quite something, right? So we can get the almost same result, so we are happy with the result with the cheaper price. Next. This is also when we make a comparison study. This is done with Icvee, so they make the study to compare the data. Next one. This is also when we identify the opening of the agriculture in Papua. I think now it's become the 1 million hectares agriculture now in Papua area. Next. And then this is, you see that we can identify several classes of the image as well. So by using our own data, we can identify so many things there. Next. And then this is another example how we monitor other country. So there is a request from other country, then we take the image and give it to them. Next one. Okay, this is another example how our satellite data also we give to other country. For example, there is a forest fire in Vietnam, and we send the data to them. And then this is during a disaster. You see down there, there is a Krakatau mountain eruption in 2020, and very easily we can detect the area. Next one. This is when Semeru mountain eruption in 2022. So you very easily can see the lava is coming out from the mountain, right? Next. And this is other country. This is the beauty of having your own satellite. You cannot take a picture other country if you don't have a satellite, because there is rules about that. If you use a plane taking a picture, then they will shoot you. They will shoot you immediately. But with your own satellite, you are free to do. 100 kilometers above, the space is yours. Next. This is another image of the other area as well. This is you see the Kuwait city and Mecca. This is the one that I would like to show you. See yeah, you see this one? So Mecca also become greener now, and everybody start to worry. Okay. Then next, we can take an image over Jakarta. This is the new island in the Jakarta and also in Semarang. Next. And this is area in Singapore and also in Kinabalu. Next one. Okay, then this is something that I would like to show you as well, that from the design point of view and assembly, integration and test, we can do that in Indonesia. So of course we are open to discuss and to have a collaboration to all of you during this conference. Next. And also this is all the facility that we have, so we can develop the small satellite up to 200 kilogram class in our center. So we have collimator. This collimator is used to calibrate the sensor of the camera, and we have also another facility like integrating spare to measure the pitch netting area of the lens, so that you can calibrate the lens. And this is very important one. This one. Why? This is the reason why when somebody wants to take a picture with your handphone, don't stay in the very end. Why? Because ladies will not like that. You will become fat, right? So, but how you can correct that? You can correct that by using this integrating light spare. So you will still become slim. So this is the reason why in any satellite image, you never see this behavior because it's already calibrated. But with your handy, no, it's too expensive. Okay, next. This is another laboratory that may be interesting for you as well. So we do have a full anechoic chamber. So all of you lecturers that having a lecture for making an antenna or other EMC EMC measurement and so on, we have this lab. And you can see that the range is quite high, up to 40 gigahertz. So you can measure many things in this lab. And this already involve the standard is already a military standard. So you can measure many things for EMC standard. And of course, I hope this will be useful for all of us here. Next. And then this another planning of us. So we have several ground stations over Indonesia. And then there is a plan later on, once we have a launch pad in Biak Island, then maybe we will need a shipborne ground station to receive the data when the rocket is launched. Next. This is the ground station. So when you have a satellite, of course, you need to develop your own ground station. So we have several ground stations over Indonesia. And below that, there is one station in the North Pole. Why we have to develop in North Pole? Because the satellite is moving north to south. And when you have the ground station in the North Pole, you can have a visibility of 14 times a day. The same thing happens when you fly over equatorial region, then it is better to have a ground station over Indonesia. Then you can have 14 times a day revisit as well. Next one. So this is the station located in Biak. So we have a very good collaboration with ISRO, with India. So that's the reason why they placed the station in Biak Island. And we currently have another 2 ground stations, S and X band, to receive all the satellite data as well, and also to send a command to the satellite. And this is open for everyone if you want to use it for your own purpose. Next. This is the next satellite that we are planning now. Actually, almost finished. So now we are planning to launch it in Q2, quarter of 2026. It takes quite some time because so many things happens. But next one. So you see that this is the satellite that we are now in pre-final integration. So you see there is a camera. We have a camera AI system again. We have a very high resolution camera that we develop ourselves. And also IoT. So we have also IoT system inside using a LoRa. We cooperate with one Indonesian startup here. So they put the LoRa in our satellite. Then later on, once we launch, we can see the result as well. Next. This is another program that we have. We also have another program called Nusantara IoT, Equatorial IoT. The idea is to launch 10 satellites, and you see here in equatorial orbit, so that you can get the data in real time. And based on our experience, because we launched already 1 satellite in equatorial orbit, we can only get 14 times revisit, right? But now when you have 10 satellites, then you can have real-time data directly. Next. So this another aspect that, because we are all here, so I would like to discuss as well to you that this is several competence that we have to develop when you want to develop your own satellite, starting from the communication architecture, ground segment, and also of course the launch system, space segment, and so on. Including the orbit and constellation. And because Forte is here, I believe we are also have a very strong position for development of this capability. Next. So if we focus only for the spacecraft system, then of course electronics also play a big role here. And of course, I really encourage you all professors here that please support your student. And then because without them, without the new young generation in electronics, we cannot do too much on this one. Yeah, and you can see here from the reliability and structure, the telemetry command and support system, and also the phase array antenna, of course, the power system. You need this this lecture, of course, and you need to teach this to the student so that they have a background as well. Next one. And this is another things that we already developed for the payload system or the camera. This is all of the self camera. So we buy everything in the market and you just make some re-engineering project on that. For example, the camera that I've shown you, the high resolution 5-meter camera, video camera, is actually Sony camera that you can buy very cheap in the market, but you have to re-engineering and make them strong so that it can survive for the harsh environment in space. Otherwise, it will be damaged immediately. So that's the reason why we have a lab now, laboratory, or we have a tools to test all the components. So we can test the thermal and vacuum at the same time. And you can use that one so that you can have your own products. And as you know, space product is very, very expensive. So for example, if you buy raw material for $5, once it's launched and it's proven in orbit, you can sell it for $500 US. So 5 to 500, so it's, I don't know, 100 times more. Yeah, so that's why it's very expensive. So you have to develop yours too. Next, this is the satellite bus that now we are also trying to develop in-house. Next one. This is, for example, battery. You can buy the battery everywhere, but of course, to launch to the space, you need to test it. And for example, you have to get one batch for 10,000 pieces. Maybe it qualify 1,000 only. So that's the reason why space is quite hard. And you have to make all the tests and redo the test again if it is failed, and you test again until you find the good products that you can launch it. Okay, next one. This is another our research with Gajah Mada University that we put the IoT payload later on in one of our satellite, but this is the IoT that they put in the mountain of Merapi. And then later on, once the satellite is launched, then this IoT data can be detected by the satellite as well. Next. So we also support, next one. So we also support the students, so you just click it, please. This is called SS1 or Surya Satellite 1. So you see, very basic things. So they start very scratch with PCB bolong-bolong, they call it, right? Like this one. So we are all electronics engineers here. So we start with PCB bolong-bolong first, right? Then you start with PCB bolong-bolong, then you make your own drafting or of PCBs, right? And you test it and it's failed. You have to restart again. And that's the reason why they took 6 years to make one. It's very tough. When they test it in our chamber for the battery itself, so the battery capacity, the battery mass should not lose 1%. If it is lost, then destroy, no use. Take another one. Check once again. Because we want to fly the very good component to space because there is very harsh environment there. So this is what happened. So I encourage you, because now we are all electronic people sitting here in this room. I would like to encourage you and to invite you all from all the university. Let's make our CubeSat. Tell you already starting that actually. So we need to launch it very soon. Yeah? So this already launched. The launch supported by JAXA because they got sponsored from JAXA from Japan. And next one, maybe we can go next slide. Yeah. So all the tests they have done in our center, so we can test it all the components because we have the tools and we have the knowledge. So we can support your student. And just give them magang for 6 months or more. Then, yes. And I will show you why it is important. So all the students, the very good thing, a very good story about this one, because they have, at first, they have like 30 students. At the end, because it's too long program, 6 years, and remaining only 6. But finally they launched, and out of the 6, 4, one now in Georgia Tech University in US, he got the scholarship from US. One get from LPDP, now in Technische University in Germany. One got a scholarship from UNOSA, from United Nations in QTech in Japan. And one now in Behang University, he got a scholarship from LPDP. So they got a red carpet for continuing their study, because this is very, very popular. Okay, so everybody opened a door for them if they want to continue their study. And then this is another one. The last one is called Ridusat. Pak Dean is here. So this is also, but these have another different approach, because they want to launch it in 1 year, right? So they make a different approach. So they start to cooperate with other company, and then the requirement is done by them, and then the satellite is already launched in 24 June 2025, last few months ago. And very interestingly, you can see this one. So this CubeSat carry only APRS payload, very simple one, only text messaging payload, right? So people can using again handy-talkie and talk by using sending a message to the satellite, and the satellite will rely all over the world. And you see here there are 2 messages coming from 2 different satellites. So the first one is our own satellite called 8A2, and it's shouting, it's sending message like Bravo Satellite Indonesia. And Ridusat, when it was there, it say this is a Ridusat 1 from Indonesia. So it's because the orbit is very near, so those of our satellite talking each other, kind of talking each other. So this very interesting story. And then now the satellite's up there, so it's still working, and we will see maybe in few days they will operate. And I believe this will be very good lesson as well. So all have a different approach. So you can have a long way approach, which is also no problem, or you can have a very fast one, but you make another step backward, right? Okay, next one. This is, now I want to show you how the word now have.
9, 8, T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Vehicles pitching downrange.
Okay, you can speed up a bit. Okay, it's successfully launched.
Booster after chamber pressure nominal.
And this is the human history. This is very big human history.
Now pass through the maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most stress the vehicle is going to see on the way uphill.
So this rocket carried 200 ton payload. Can you imagine one communication satellite
coming up on hot staging next?
So
ship engine
there's
startup.
both engines cut off.
So huge.
Stage separation.
Okay, now the first stage,
Booster
second stage,
separation,
separated.
hot stage,
And you see
separation confirmed.
When I was there last week in SpaceX, and I saw this big rocket, it makes me cry, because how come something you know, metallic goes up and goes back.
On the left hand.
Now this happened.
Landing burn.
13
ignited.
Now it's back.
We're now down to 3 Raptor engines.
With technique, they call it
We can see
chopstick.
those chopsticks now.
This is all automatic. No human interference. Okay. Next. So this is the word now. This is the word now. And you can imagine in our industry, in our lecture, we are all electronics and telecom maybe people here, and you can imagine how the world will change in 5 to 10 years from now with this huge achievement. This Starship can carry 200 tons at once, and the idea is to go up and go back again, and that's the reason why SpaceX can send, like, the idea is to send 44,000 LEO satellites for communication. And this becomes very crucial for the humanity because now we have another problem, because new technology then will become a new problem and so on and so on. And the question is, where are we now? We are as Indonesia. So this very good example how the world is changing. And this another things happens now as well. I just want to show you what happens now in the space industry. Now there is a AI coming to the space. We call it space computing. Why? You can see the reason. With 100 satellites only, with 0.3 meter resolutions, then if you want to cover the whole world 98%, then you need 1.8 terabit per second. It is not possible. You cannot do this because ITU regulation only limit you to transmit the data from the frequency point of view, right? And that's the reason why now in the space industry they try to use laser pointers, optical, but still very difficult because if it is a cloudy, then game over. You cannot send laser to the ground. So what happened is they try to make AI in space, and this is another future. They call it space computing. How you send not the data, but you send information directly from the satellite. So in our old satellite, we send video camera, right? We send raw data, and you have to use so many algorithms to process the data in ground. But next future, no more. Everything on board. And now this is what we are doing. Next.
You have 2 minutes.
Yes, it almost finished. This is one of the example how we detect, we make the algorithm to check the ship dimension and also ship speed. Next one. By using only the wake detection, and you can see the result is quite good because before that, you see when from the absolute data, next one, from the absolute data we get 12.8, but with our algorithm we can very close 11.78 knots by only measuring the wake turbulence, we call it, right? So then this will be uploaded to the space, and later on you will not get this data, but you will get the information of the ship, the dimension, the speed, that's all, which is very limited bandwidth is enough, right? Because you can only get the text, but you can point it directly to the map. This will happen next. Okay, next one. Okay, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the very important things. All those challenges will not be, we cannot go for that if we don't prepare our human resources. So in BRIN itself, we split it into several areas of age, and then all of those having steps For example, if they are bachelor, then they can make a research with us. If they want to go for a master degree, they can also cooperate with us for a degree by research program or also getting another doctoral degree and so on. Next one. This very important one. I would like to show you this one, Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen. This is we call it LPDP targeted, and why it's called LPDP targeted? Because only 4 area focus: space, nuclear, biodiversity, and one is the maritime. And why only 4? Because this is very crucial one, and now we have 100 scholarship up to PhD. And we have a collaboration with several universities all over the world, but only specific university, because we know which one is the best, and we want to send our students to the best university for this subject only. And when we launched this program 2 years back, can you imagine how many students registered for this program? Can you guess, Bapak Ibu, if you know? We have 100 scholarship, and can you imagine how many students submit for this program? 0. So we have a problem, Bapak Ibu. We have a problem. I don't know. Maybe our young students, they don't like to go space. Maybe they don't like to go for maritime. I don't know. They don't want to go for nuclear things. So what happens is, after we know this situation, from starting 2 years ago, we start we open the center, and we invite all the students from bachelor to have a magang 6 months in our place, and then we teach them. Currently, I have 5 candidates, 5 only candidates for next year. But of course, they have to pass all the examination and so on and so on. Now we have collaboration with Purdue University, Michigan University. We have collaboration with Colorado Boulder. Next week I will meet them anyway. We have North Carolina State University and so on. Everybody's open, but no students. So we need to encourage our students, really. And because we are now here, I really encourage all of you. Please, next one. Okay, this is another just program that we have in future. We call it Nusantara Satellite Constellation. Next one. So this is the idea of Indonesia. So the idea of Indonesia is to have, you can click it. So if we want to monitor Indonesia, then we need to have equatorial belt satellite, and also the polar one, and SAR satellite, and so on. Next one. Okay, with that, thank you so much for your kind attention. I hope it's useful for everybody. So thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's very hard for me to cut Professor Hasbe's speech, because we learned many things from his insightful speech, that we have a proud advanced satellite systems. Now, join me to welcome the third keynote speaker. She is Professor Dr. Lily Anifah. She is a professor in electrical engineering at Universitas Negeri Surabaya. She specializes in deep pattern recognition with research interests that is also include IoT applications, sports technology, and medical imaging. Her work advances the integration of intelligent systems across multidisciplinary applications, from energy efficiency to digital education innovations. Her keynote is entitled Development of Artificial Intelligence and Image Processing in the Energy Sector. Please welcome Professor Dr. Lily Anifah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say welcome to Universitas Negeri Surabaya Saya ucapkan selamat datang kepada semua tamu dari peserta Icvee dan juga dari Seminar Nasional Teknik Elektro. In this special occasion, I would like to discuss regarding development of artificial intelligence and image processing in energy sector. Next, please. First, we discuss first overview about image processing. So I make my presentation general. Image processing, the process that analyze or also manipulating image, so the information become more informative, and we can easier to the storage process, also transmission and data extraction. Next, please. And here is the process. So there is a problem. So there is image sensor and image processing. From this process, hopefully we can improve the quality of image or information. So the information could be stored to the mass storage, also in image display, and also easier to transmit to other process, and also feature extraction. And some process in image processing. Next, please. Here's the process, acquisition of image. So acquisition of image or image acquisition is the process how our sensor can capture the data from the real world. And another process, image enhancement or enhancement of image, and then restoration of image, color image processing, compression and decompression of image, and morphological process. Morphological process is process that a set of process that make the image can process to the next process based on the shape. And then another process is segmentation, representation, and description. An overview about artificial intelligence. Here's artificial intelligence is actually it's like a human being, how to identify about something. Above one, from the environment, we catch the information, and then the information we process it to our cognitive process. And then artificial intelligence, from information from our environment, we capture to electronic sensors, and then we implement some algorithm, and then we get some information we can identify or also classification process. Artificial intelligence, next please. Artificial intelligence, here in artificial intelligence, there are so many processes here, NLP, visual perception, intelligent robotic, automatic programming, knowledge representation, expert system, planning and scheduling, speech recognition, and problem solving, and search strategies. And it also, inside of artificial intelligence, there's machine learning, so many methods that we can implement. For example, we can implement linear logistic regression, and then SVM, KNN, decision tree, K-means, PCA, and also another algorithm. And then also there is neural network and also deep learning. So in artificial intelligence, we need knowledge, experience, data, And from that, we can design the system. And to know the performance of the system, we need testing process, and then we make some kind of like evaluation. Here is machine learning and deep learning, the above one. Next, please. The above one is a deep learning process. So from this, we know that from raw data, feature space to classification process, for deep learning, it directly can process. There are some methods here. And then about the machine learning, we need some kind like pre-processing, feature extraction, and then also another process. And some methods that we can implement here, for example, for dimension reduction, PCA, LDA, and etc. Next, please. Here's overview about image processing, implementation image processing and AI. First of all, we have to understand first about the question research and also the data set. And then we're doing pre-processing and labeling, next training model, and then we can testing the model that we already designed, and then we doing evaluation. Here's some implementation of in energy sector. Next, please. Okay. First, we can forecast and predict a system. And also we can implement to the smart grid with intelligent storage, and then machine intelligence for energy planning or prediction energy in the future, integrating IoT devices and deep learning for renewable energy in big data system, and etc. And this is the simple example of machine intelligence for prediction. For these images, we can predict the efficiency of solar cell. So far, previous journal, maybe we predict the noise on the surface of the solar cell, but we must predict the efficiency, not just only what kind of the noise, but the efficiency or the effect of this noise. First, we're doing some data collection. The data collection, we try some implement the noise on the surface. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. We're doing some research regarding the effect of the noise on the surface. First, we try to implement dust or sand on the surface, and then we try to modeling the system. From this, we got the effect of the noise on the surface. Next, please. And here's dry plant on the surface, and here's the formula. And next, please. Okay. And here's covered by leaf, and here's the formula. Next, please. And here is covered by water. So the first approach, we can use this formula to directly predict the efficiency of the energy get from the solar cell. And here's the evaluation of the equation that we already got. RMSA, MSA, R square, and my. Next, please. Okay. Next, please. Okay. Maybe that's the first approach. And then the second approach. The second approach, the development of AI and image processing. The scenario, the first one, the input data, the noise on the solar cell, it could be numeric data. So we can numeric data. And the second input, intensity data. And the second, area covered. And it's also numeric data. So we can gather the data from the experiments, this data, and then we can process and we can directly get the efficiency of the solar cell. The alternative solutions, it could be, we can implement the fuzzy logic, also neural network, and it's also possible if we implement another algorithm. Next, please. Okay, and why we implement artificial intelligence is different from the first case. We can't model the system using polynomial, also linear, and from our investigation, the data, the efficiency, the effect of the lux and noise, it's not a linear one. So we implement fuzzy and neural network. It's a very simple one. And then next. Okay, so the other strategy, the third approach, if the input data, it's not just only numeric data, it could be the first one, the input data is an image. And then the second intensity, it could be a data, and also it could be cut from the sensor. And the third one, the input data, it's not numeric, but image data. So here's the alternative solution. The first one, we can implement image processing and template matching. And then the second strategy, we can implement image processing, template matching based on the texture feature. And then the third one, we can implement image processing and machine learning based on image itself. And the fourth one, we can implement image processing, machine learning based image texture. And next, please. So the first one, we implement image processing and template matching. We know that template matching is the process. It's based on the similarities of the data. And many algorithms that we can implement. From this, next please. Okay. From this, we can compare the data between the input data with the gold standard. So we have to define the gold standard first. Next, please. And then the second approach, we can't implement texture feature. So the texture feature, it could be the first order statistical features, and then gray level co-occurrence matrix or GLCM, and the third one, it could be gray level run length matrix or GLRLM. Next, please. And this is the first order statistical feature. Okay. From the image, we can extract the data about the mean, standard deviation, smoothness, skewness, uniformity, and entropy. So here's a 6 feature that we can extract from the data, from the image. And the first order statistical features, here's the skewness. The skewness refers to the symmetry of the distribution, and the kurtosis, the peakness and tailedness of the data. Okay, next please. And here's the texture, gray level co-occurrence matrix, and the contrast, correlation, energy, homogeneity. So we can get 4 features from this. Next please. Okay. Okay, and then the third one, we can extract the data from the texture feature, short lung emphasis, SRA, LRA, GLN, RP, RLN, LGRA, and also HGRA. So from this we can get 7 data, and we can combine this with other feature. Next, please. Here is the formula of the Gray-Leveran length matrix that we can implement, and the direction it could be 135 degrees, 90 degrees, and also 45 degrees and 0. So if we implement just only one direction, if it's enough, one direction, so we can extract 7 data from this. If the direction is not enough, just only one angle, so we can implement another one. So it depends on the case. Okay, next please. Oh, okay. So the scenario from this, if we want to implement image processing and we combine with template matching based on the texture feature, it's become we have the data before. Oh.
Go back, please.
Yes. Okay. No. Before. Okay. Yes. No. What this? Before this. Okay. Yes. So the scenario become we can get the data from first order statistical feature, and then we have data also from Gray-Leveran length matrix, and we can get the data GLCM and also intensity, information, and area covered, and then we implement template matching. Next, please. Okay. Here's another scenario also. We can implement image processing and machine learning based image. So from the image, we can directly find the future. So it's not based on the feature, but based on the image itself. So from pre-processing process, and then also we implement morphology process and also segmentation, we can implement some algorithm. For example, k-means, self-organizing map, linear vector quantization, and then we get information about the type of noise. But it's not enough because we need information regarding intensity and area covered, and the square of area covered of this. And then we can implement another algorithm because it's enough if we just only get information regarding the type of the noise, because we have to find the efficiency of the system. Next, please. Okay. And here's the next scenario. we can implement image processing, machine learning based image texture. So from the information about the texture feature, we get from the first order statistical and then GLRLM and then GLCM. We can also information regarding intensity we can get from the sensor, and area covered also we can calculate using image processing. So for first texture data, we can implement the algorithm, for example, Cummins, self-organizing map, and LVQ, and then we get the data on the noise, the type of noise, and then the input intensity data and area covered from the image processing. Then we can process the data using fuzzy logic neural network, and then we can get the efficiency. And another one, next. So next please. Okay. About morphology process, some process that we can implement for this case, we can implement this process, and here is the formula. Next, please. Okay. Next, please. Okay. Here's the morphology process that we can implement to find the area of noise, because we not just only find the type of the noise on the surface of solar cell, but also we need to information regarding the square of area of the noise. Okay, the process, pre-processing, dilation, erosion, opening operator, closing operator, and also area filling and segmentation. Okay, and here's the scenario to solve the problem. First, we try to find the information about the texture. And then we try to find the intensity, the information from the sensor, and information about the square of area covered. We can implement the morphology process. So all the data after implement the Cummins, SUM, LVQ, and other algorithm, maybe we can implement also, not just only this algorithm. And then the output of the system, we can implement fuzzy logic, neural network, and other machine learning. So we can get the efficiency of the system. So this is for the simple one to the complex one. Next, please. And this is another project that we can implement artificial intelligence. For example, it's collaborate with chemistry study program to classify the quality of used cooking oil quality. So here's the data. We use electronic sense, and we divide into 3 clusters here. It's based on the laboratory result. So about the laboratory result, we not really know about what kind of the chemistry test here. So it's conducted by chemistry study program. So here's after the laboratory chemistry laboratory process, we get the result, and we implement electronic sense for this cluster of used cooking oil, so we can get the data. We can the information here. This is the first cluster, and then the second and the third. From this, we can conclude that for each cluster, it have it's the characteristic of for each cluster. Next, please. Next, please. Okay. So here's the data. From this, we can make this as a gold standard of the data, so we can implement of the comments. Next, please. So here's the data. When we extract from the system. Next, please. And from this, we can get the weight of from the learning process. The weight for the first cluster, the second one, and the third one. From this information, we know that each cluster that we can classify, and there is a difference between cluster 1, cluster 2, and the third cluster. Okay, next please. Actually, how we develop the AI, artificial intelligence, and also image processing. The first one, we have to identify the case. And then how we can get the performance. We can calculate the performance. First, for classification system, we can calculate the accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. And there are so many other formula or equation to calculate this. But commonly, or other previous research, we can implement these formulas. And next please. And how about the time series or regression case? We can implement mean square error, root mean square error, R square. Also, we can implement mean absolute error. And I believe there are still many other formula. So, from this, we can conclude the pattern recognition intelligence. We can make decision support system, and we can make the decision, and hopefully the system could be robust and futuristic. And maybe in the conclusion of my presentation, the first is if we want to develop AI in the certain case, maybe the first we have to understand the problem first, and then we have to know the purpose of the case, and about the input data, we have to understand what kind of input data, whether it's image data or numeric data, and how we can process the input data. Maybe the data it's need to be cleaning or something, so it's valuable for the next process. And then we also know about the output data, and we make sure that the system could be there is a solution for this case. And then we can design the system. We can design the system based on the problem, the purpose, also the data, input data or output data. Because if the input data is different, so we have to implement different ways. So it's for the specific purpose. And then we have to evaluate the system. And the last one, we make sure that the result of our experiment, our research, it's accordance with the objective of our research or solve the problem, the solution of the problem. Maybe that's our presentation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Lily, for the insightful presentations. Now, before we begin the discussion session, let me remind you a bit about the three keynote speakers today. First, we have Professor Ahmed Abu Siada. He was talking about the frequency response analysis on the transformer performance. And then the second keynote, we have Professor Wahyudi Hasbi. He was talking about the small satellites and green space systems. And the last one, Professor Dr. Lily Anifa. She is explaining the AI and image processing for energy. We still have about 15 minutes for Q&A session. It is time for you to stretch your leg because you have sat for more than 2 hours. So I think it is a good idea to ask us question and use this time to a little bit stretch your legs. So I'd like to invite the audience to raise your hand and ask questions to the keynote speakers. Yes, we already have one here. And then the second, okay, we will open to questions for this. Maybe, could you, okay, yeah. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pradini. My name is Sarmindra from Icvee. I would like to ask Professor Siada from Curtin University. Yeah, it is very interesting presentation about how online SRVA will be happen to the transformer. But my question is, the SRFA itself is based on the judgment on the expert to read the pattern and then conclude the situation. While the different level of knowledge by the expert will maybe interpret a bit different each other. But do you think with the AI advancement, it's possible that AI will do the interpretation more accurately compared to the expert judgment, while the expert judgment rely on very long accumulated experience? What do you think about this? Thank you, Professor Siada.
Okay, I will directly give the opportunity to answer to Professor Ahmed.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. With the different level of expertise, we don't expect the interpretation will be the same in terms of the fault type and fault level. And please remember that in power transformer, the problem is not exaggerated as much as in transmission line, for example, because in transformer, I don't care about the fault location. I have only a winding of like maybe 90 centimeter long, and I will anyhow unwrap it and find the fault location. The fault type and fault level is still a challenge in transformer, but there will be a fault. All experts will report a fault inside the transformer, but the type of fault, location of fault, level of fault may be different between them. Of course, with the application of artificial intelligence, you will have more experience, and that will need, of course, training, same as the expert. But the idea here is to have a standard and automated analysis to the signature, obtained signature, subject to having a significant training process for the artificial intelligence model. Again, we can't rely 100% on the outcome of the artificial intelligence model. We have again to use our engineering judgment, otherwise we should close our engineering departments. If we talk about transmission line, the location of the fault, for example, based on the current industry techniques, it has maybe a tolerance of plus minus, say, 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer, which again is not a very serious problem in overhead transmission line, because I can send my crew members, I can send a drone to see where the exact fault is. But in underground cables will be a problem, of course, right? So it depends on the problem you are solving, and the application of artificial intelligence, from my point of perspective, I might be wrong, should be adopted in the future in all our power applications with the use of engineering judgment as well.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Arwindra and Professor Ahmed, for the discussion. We open the second question. Do we already have the microphone, please?
Hello.
All good.
Okay, Mrs. Pradini. Oh, I asking. I want to ask.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I would like to Professor Ahmed. You know that after monitoring and diagnosing the power transformer, then we can identify the condition of it, and to avoid the catastrophic failure. And besides that, we can also maximize the lifespan of the transformer. The question is, can you calculate or estimate the lifespan rest or the remaining life of the transformer? I think this is very important. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. Yes, please.
I just have a comment. Yes, absolutely right. With the reliable and the real-time monitoring of power transformer, not only frequency response analysis, but we have other tests that can estimate the remnant life of the power transformer, and that will make easy decision for the asset management team to manage the replacement or the usage of the transformer to its full capacity. I can't, for example, operate an old transformer at 80% while I know there is a problem with that transformer. So if I have reliable condition monitoring techniques, I may take a confirmed decision to reduce the load, say, to 60%. In this way, I can extend the life of the transformer maybe to another 10 or 15 years. Whereas if you operate it at 80%, you may lose it in 5 years or so. Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome another, okay, yes, please.
Thank you. My name is Dedet. I'm from IPS. I have a question for Dr. Hasbi. Yeah, I'm quite happy and also impressed that we can build a small and cheap satellite. Yeah, I think it's very perspective. And my question, I'm interested on the hotspot monitoring using the satellite. So what is actually the temperature range and the temperature resolution for the hotspot monitoring? Because mostly this for the fire incident, yeah, for the fire incident detection. And also, how about the cloud covering affecting this resolution and the range of the temperature measurement? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you so much for the question. So actually for the hotspot monitoring, there are several technique or sensor that usually used in space. At first is they can use the thermal infrared, which is, there are two types of thermal infrared. They can use with cooling system or without cooling system. So currently the problem with the thermal infrared with cooling system is because it will become so big in the satellite. So now there are several research, or even we will launch one more in our Neo 1 satellite. We will launch one payload called bolometer. So bolometer is kind of payload that it can detect the HOTS pixel, but without cooling system. And this will become very easy and very small, and it can be used in the small satellite. The one that I've shown you in the image in my presentation is basically we use a NOAA satellite system, which is huge one. It's very huge, and if I don't mistaken, the resolution of the hotspot area can be covered is like 200 meters. So you cannot detect if the fire less than 200 meters. And that's the reason why there are several studies now, or even other satellite also try to develop the sensor that can detect more or lower or higher resolution hotspot, because this become crucial as well. Another technique they use is also using the SWIR, or shortwave infrared technique. And then currently most of the satellite use that also to calculate the carbon. Yeah, because you know, when you fire something, then you get the smokes, and the smokes can become a carbon. And now one of the ideas to measure the carbon credit of one country or the other, or the company, also is to use the satellite system, so that they can identify how big is the carbon that you spread to the atmosphere, and then you have to pay for that, right? And this is two ideas now, but for the current that we monitor now is they are using the NOAA satellite system. But of course there will be another new satellite that also launched by ESA, or European Space Agency, also to monitor the not only hotspot but also the carbon monitoring system, because now carbon is become very crucial, and you know you can get money from the carbon. So some of the country they are trying now to establish the standard how you can calculate the carbon credit that you have, and how can I pay you, something like that. And this become a very huge topic now, because it's involving billions of US dollars. And for example, Singapore, they are also trying to discuss with some other country how big is the carbon that can be compensated by other country by growing the plant, so that it can be balanced. But anyway, this has to be measured, and one measurement tools that required for that is using a satellite system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We still have about 8 minutes for the lunch break, and I'd like to welcome more questions, maybe 2 or 3 from the audiences. Perhaps the operator, could you kindly check if we have the question asked from Zoom, perhaps? Okay. Do you have another questions? Pumita, would you like to ask your questions now? Pumita? Oh, she's speaking on the phone. Okay, do we have another questions? So actually, we have several discussions here with our keynote speakers. Prof. Lily, in your research, you are using image processing for predicting the output, perhaps, of the solar panel. How do you think it can be implemented in real life? For example, we have huge power plants, and then we need to monitor how to implement it for a real-time applications where the area is quite huge, and to what extent your research have been conducted to anticipate such challenge?
Thank you for the question. Actually, it's still in laboratory research, and the idea, if the large is very huge, so maybe we can implement by drone, and then maybe we can implement algorithm. And for my opinion, it could be a limitation first about the weight of the area, because also we have consider about the transmit of the data. So we have to calculate more accurate. Maybe it's possible, but for certain area, for the area we have to mention first how large the area is. Maybe that's my, and also maybe another variable. So consider not just only looks or intensity of the area, the environment, but also I think the condition is must be implement another algorithm, because it's not very the same condition. So we have to implement another process, for example, for normalize or normalization or standardization of the condition. So the pixel can accurately we get from the real data. So not if the large area, and also we have to consider again about the variable that maybe it's influence for the system. So not just only intensity, maybe temperature also, and the place or the condition in maybe in Surabaya or in another place is, I believe it's very different. I think that's my question.
Thank you very much, Professor Lily. Actually, I still have a bucket of questions written in my tab here. For example, but I hope we can have another discussion. For example, with Professor Hasbi, it was intrigued that you are using IoT in the satellites and then transmit it with LoRa. As we know that LoRa in terrestrial settings, it only covers several kilometers. Even in a real implementations, it may just cover about hundreds of meters just in the different settings in outdoor areas. And then also, I was quite surprised that the Professor Ahmed explained about frequency response analysis, and he is using how the fingerprints of a healthy transformer can be used as a benchmark to evaluate the condition of other transformers. Since in my field, in the wireless communication, we are also using a radio fingerprintings for detecting locations in indoor spaces. So it's quite relatable to my field of research. It was a very inspiring keynote speech today we have, and I'd like to express the greatest gratitude to all keynote speakers today. Before we are closing the keynote speech session, I'd like for you to stay a little bit a while on the stage, because after I give it back the session to the MC, we'd like to give the token of appreciation for all of you. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the keynote session today. I'd like to please give the warm round of applause to all the keynote speakers. Thank you. Back to the MC.
Thank you very much, the professors, our keynote speakers, and also the moderator for the enlightening presentations. Very insightful, that we can contextualize our discussion into our respective fields. And in order to present our token of appreciation to our distinguished keynote speakers, we'd like to invite the representative of the organizing committee to present the token of appreciation. Please, I'd like to invite Bapak Profesor Arif from FORTEI, and also Bapak Profesor Azhari as one member of advisory board, and Ibu Dr. Lucia Rahmawati as the chair of Icvee. Please join to come on stage to present token of appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would like to tell you that today's conference, we are now on the third edition of the International Conference on Professional Electrical Engineering. And this is jointly held by Faculty of Engineering, State University of Surabaya, and also supported by National Convention and also preparing the National Conventions for Forte 2025. The conference is hosted by the Faculty of Engineering, State University of Surabaya, in collaboration with Indonesian Electrical Engineering Forum Forte and supported by our sponsors. I would like to extend our gratitude as well to our sponsor. Thank you to PT Falcon, Paragon Corp, Terminal Elektronika Sekawan. I'd like to say it also to Aruna, Teknik Elektro Darul Ulum, Icvee, Cityshock Indonesia, and also Bank Tabungan Negara. So once again, we are now witnessing our great keynote speakers remain on stage for photo sessions to show the warm welcome from the committee, and also once again, thank you very much to the insightful presentations to our keynote speakers. Bapak Ibu, once again, the biggest applause to our keynote speakers. That's always Indonesia UNESA satu langkah di depan. Thank you. Distinguished participants, as the keynote session concluded, we also conclude our plenary morning sessions. We will now have a break for lunch. That lunch is served on the second floor. So after lunch, the conference will continue with parallel sessions and also some workshops and national convention meeting of the forum, and also during your lunch that you might enjoy your photo booth on the second floor. Please refer to the conference handbook for details informations. So enjoy your lunch, and we look forward to seeing you in the afternoon sessions after the lunchtime.